The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buying.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
Football cards collecting and investing. His name is Andy. My name is Carter. All a part of the NoOffSeason.com network. A little bit later, has the National been replaced? We'll talk about that. The people are saying, Andy. The people are saying. Yeah.
That's a big deal, man.
We'll get to that a little bit later. But we got to talk about the young quarterbacks because young quarterbacks is what fuels the hobby. And Andy, we want to start with Mr. I wonder if he has the shortest name in QB history. 5 letters.
It's going to be close.
Rolls off the tongue. Mr. Bo Nix, Andy.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close, man. His cats looked fantastic in the preseason. But the question is, are you buying or are you selling him right now? And so we're here to give you some insights on whether you should be buying or selling. I think, Carter, you need to sell. I'm going to present some data and share with you why I think that. But just right off the get, like, yes, he's played fantastic in the preseason. Yes, he's looked very confident. But my big but is a lot of his passes have been very close to the line of scrimmage. A lot of them have been against second and third string defenses. So I'm like, and then I look at the Broncos schedule and I'm like, holy cow. And then it's tough, right? And you already know they're in the AFC West. They're going to be, playing the Chiefs twice a year. This is not like a cakewalk schedule. And then I go and look at how much his cards have gone up over the past 2 months. And Carter, you and I were talking about this before the show. This guy's got a lot of different autographed cards. Here, let me go ahead and share my screen here.
Let's see it, baby.
He's got a lot of autographed cards. And so to see them moving as much as they have. So this is a card that this card just sold. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, estimated. So this card I just pulled off of the sold listings here on eBay. Sold in the last 24 hours. It's his Bowman University Chrome first rookie auto. This is the non-serial numbered version. This sold for $179 in a buy it now. But if you go back to July 19th, this same exact card, raw, we're looking at raw cards here, sold for $56. So it's an over a 3x increase. And if you go and look at like a more rare one, let's look at his lava refractor. Out of $199. This sold yesterday in a buy it now for $250. And if you were to go back in time, you can see where that card sold for like, man, I'd have to go pull it up. I thought I had it pulled up, but it was like, again, a 3x increase. So it sold for like right under $100. And that's how much his cards have gone up. They've gone up, approximately 3 to 4x. And you can see how well they're selling. The buy it nows are just selling like crazy for Bo Nix. And so I think you've got to sell them right now, Carter.
Yeah, let's put Don's comment up. He says, don't forget Sam checked down Bradford, won a rookie of the year, never throwing downfield, and then basically did nothing for the rest of his career. That's kind of how I see Bo Nix right now. He will have a better career than Sam Bradford because he's attached to Sean Payton. But yeah, I think there is a very real chance that Bo Nix has the best rookie season out of any of the quarterbacks. I don't think that that's going to happen, but I do think it's plausible. And another thing that's very interesting is these autos, the one you have on the screen right now, Andy, this was from his Auburn days before, Topps had the licenses for the colleges. So the thing is, moving forward, because of NIL, Andy, there are going to be more autoed cards, right? So the number one quarterback for the class of 2026, Andy, is a kid named Julian Lewis. He already has autos for Leaf that are out. And this is a high school Jr. Okay. So because cards have become bigger and there's so many more autos, there's always going to be so many of these autos for players now moving forward, because I can now sign in and actually make money off their image and likeness. So it is interesting because Andy, he was in this Bowman first product, and you should definitely move him right now. Definitely. I don't know if there is an opportunity for you to go buy and really do something truly profitable, unless he is truly extraordinary in like through the first 4 weeks, like he's CJ Stroud level. I would definitely be moving right now.
Yeah, I think you got to, because it's not only the fact that these cards are up 3 to 4x from where they were at, but I mean, there's going to be a lot more cards coming out for him, and these cards in his college uniform, especially 2 teams ago, are just going to keep going down in value. So
Yeah,
that's
and on top of that, put up Kyle's comment. Bo Nix is a keeper, long-term 3 years, at least huge return in my belief. Yeah, for his pro uniform stuff, not college uni. So if you want to play that game, I would wait for some more pro uniform stuff to come out. I would seriously consider moving college uni, especially Auburn college uni cards. You're telling me I could get it for $89.99? Andy, when he was at Auburn, he was not good. He was not good. He hardly ever threw for 300 yards. So it's one of those things where I would definitely move him. Even though it's just Bowman first, I do think the first does make things a little interesting, if that could potentially become a thing down the road. But still, it's something. Andy, I do really quickly want to bring up Denver's schedule. You already pulled it up. There you go, right on cue. Seattle, that's a loss. I think Seattle's going to be better than people think. Pittsburgh, that's a W. And in week 3, they play at Tampa. So 3-0 is actually possible, though. I mean, they don't play anyone truly elite in these first 3 weeks.
No, they don't. But I think if you're going to Seattle, loudest stadium in the country, as a rookie, I mean, Seattle's not just a pushover team. I mean, they're a pretty solid team. I think you're going to be in for like he's going to be like in for an awakening there, and I think that's a tough matchup for them, man. So it kind of fits his playing style, in terms of like the short area throws and the rushing, but at the same time, I mean, it's a I look at that as like a 50-50 game. But then hosting Pittsburgh, that's a tough matchup. Pittsburgh always has a good defense, and then going at Tampa, Todd Bowles is going to dial up the blitzes like you wouldn't believe against his Cats. So, and he's going to probably play zone coverage, and I could see them losing that game too. And of course, I'm biased on that one, but yeah, it's a tough 3-game opening stretch. Ultimately, I think Denver's got a much harder schedule than what people think right now or perceive, and I think Bo Nix's college uniform stuff is going to go down in value in October, November, and right now, if you bought him in June, July, you've got 200 to 300% profit.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not sell?
So Family Burnliner brings up a point that I was going to get to for Jaden Daniels, and I also do for Bo Nix. It is a college uni color match for his NFL team, the orange and navy. So maybe there is something to that. The same thing, Andy, is actually true for Jaden Daniels. He's got autograph cards. Now, they're not Bowman, but he does have autograph cards in his Arizona State uniform. And his Arizona State uniform is burgundy and gold, right? And there's not a whole lot of burgundy and gold schools, and there's not a whole lot of navy and orange schools. So it just happened to be like that. So maybe there is something to it. Hector says Denver will lose this year, so why not wait for NFL cards for Bo? Make it make sense.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah. Andy, let's get to Caleb Williams. Obviously, his market is a completely different monster. Look, I thought he looked really good. Obviously, he made some typical Caleb mistakes. But God dog, man. I mean, you can just see the dude has the juice.
Yeah, you get this guy on the run, and he just makes these plays that just like, yeah, wow. I mean, you just feel like, only a very small percentage of quarterbacks, probably him and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's got a very much of a Patrick Mahomes vibe when you see him make plays like that. And it's just, I think it's going to be really fun to watch him. I think he's one guy that, I'm not necessarily buying his rookie cards because look how expensive they are. We just highlighted the one from Bo Nix, the lava refractor that sold for 225 or 245 yesterday, right? That same card for Caleb Williams is selling for 405. And so that's another reason why we're selling Bo Nix. Like, Bo Nix is not Caleb Williams, and he is inching up there in terms of price. And so for an extra $150, wouldn't you rather just own a Caleb Williams who's just like, looks like the next Patrick Mahomes out there? I mean, honestly, this guy, it's going to be super exciting for Bears fans and a huge market. And not to say Denver's got a big market too, but Caleb Williams, I think, is a preseason performer that I am buying. I do think he's legit, and I think this opening season schedule for them is going to be really exciting. Hosting Tennessee week 1, Carter. I mean, that's a nice matchup for them. Then they go at Houston on Sunday Night Football. This is a great game. I mean, just super exciting game right here. If they're going into this game 1-0, there's a situation where you could see these college uniform cards for Caleb Williams go up even a little bit more because he's got the number 1 overall draft pick, and who knows what kind of crazy plays that he's going to make in this week 1 game against Tennessee that just go viral. I mean, the kind of plays he's making are just like these viral highlights that are just insane. And then they go at Indianapolis week 3 to play Anthony Richardson. And that's going to be another super exciting game. So yeah, I think that there's just going to be more hype for Caleb Williams. I think it's a possibility he could sustain this or even, increase his merit a little bit here.
The one thing that Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels both have going in their favor, football-loving cities that have been QB starved for so long, and in particular Chicago. I mean, Chicago, you can make a strong case Chicago is the best sports city in the country, okay? And they've never had a superstar quarterback. Never. Not Jay Cutler, not Jim McMahon. Don't come at me with that. This has a chance to be freaking nuclear. We as we know, one of our biggest supporters, Mr. Brad Nolan, sent us a photo from the game. And dude, he told me that Bears fans are so excited. And Andy, I actually want to share my screen. I want you to guess what Rome Odunze's Panini Instant Auto and a one-touch sealed from Panini went for.
I mean, it's got to be up in that Keon Coleman range. Are we talking the RPS first look?
It is the Panini Instant Photo Shoot Autograph Auto Bears Rome Odunze.
Yeah, so I remember when Keon Coleman was kind of like announced as the wide receiver 1 for the Bills, that card started selling for like 125. I'm going to guess this one maybe went for even a little bit more. I'm going to guess 150, but it could have gotten crazy. Whoa, dude, 250? Holy cow, bro. He just smoked Keon Coleman.
I'm just going to let people know Bears fans are the absolute best, dude. Like, I'm not going to say they're the best fan base because, like, I mean, Chiefs, I mean, there's so many good fan bases out there, but they're hungry, right? They've just been so bad for so long. And even when they went to the Super Bowl, Rex Grossman was their quarterback. Dude, it's 250 for that is a lot of moolah. Okay.
Yeah, especially when that card was ordered direct from Panini for like $30.
$30.
Yeah.
And then look at this one. Panini National for $2K.
Yeah, those national cards are the cream of the crop for any player that got printed in that set.
I know it's got a diamond in there, but it's college uni, 2 of 2, 2K. Rome is burning.
The big benefactor. So I like to kind of, zag when other people are zig. So if people are like spending all this money on Rome this week, I would be like, all right, Keenan Allen, he's reported to gain weight. Like he's at 230 pounds now. Obviously, he's the veteran presence. I'd be buying some Keenan Allen, man. Some 2013 first year, select, like good premium chrome product. And, they have good looking rookie ticket autos, prisms from 2013 that have some nice scarcity. I'd be looking at his cards, or maybe DJ Moore if you don't want to go full, 12-year veteran and look at some of these other guys to stack with Caleb, while Rome's going off this week.
So here's what I'll say. This rookie class looks incredible. Obviously, the most important thing are the quarterbacks, but Malik looks great. Rome looks great. I think the best rookie running back this preseason has been Mr. Ray Davis for the Buffalo Bills, the rookie out of Kentucky. He's my most rostered running back on Underdog. So it's interesting. Let's take a few comments. We want to make first timers feel welcome. Izzy Berg says, new to collecting. I'm loving the hobby so far. It's been fun, but I think I'm done buying into breaks. I get no luck.
It's good. Sounds like you learned that lesson early on, because some people get seriously hooked and they'll really spend a lot of money in breaks. And it can be profitable if you do enough of them, and you're buying teams that are, providing plus EV or expected value in return. Like if you're buying the Colts and you have multiple players on there, you could potentially get back, or, the Panthers, etc. So like our friend Ziggy No, he came on one time and like laid out a whole plan on how he made money buying into breaks, just into breaks. But it's nothing like, buying the single of the card that you want. And I got burned out on breaks early on. Like I bought into a break for $150 and got nothing, like one veteran Carson Wentz card. And it was like, that was nothing to show for out of that break. So I just never did them again. But they're a nice way to get into like $1,000 box or a case of boxes without having to spend $1,000 on that case. You get a little slice of it.
Don't do breaks, Izzy. Don't. I mean, it obviously depends on your bankroll. Is it a fun thing to do? Yeah. I mean, it's fun to rush, but buy singles. Know what you're buying. Because after a while, it's just like, okay, whatever. And if you do hit something in a break that's really big, stop. Because that's probably going to be the end of it. We also say hi to Ted. We also say hi to Matt. James says, why are y'all live? I haven't even gotten to watch yesterday's video. Well, the good thing is it's still going to be up.
That's it, baby. That's a great thing about YouTube.
It's still going to be there, baby. Andy, I do think one guy that I might buy low, and I don't know how low he's going to be, is Michael Penix, because, we didn't get to see another preseason game. And I'll wait until November to get in on some Penix, even though I'm not the biggest fan of his. I love that situation for him. And I think that could be a really good opportunity in that November-December range to look in to that. But I hated that we didn't get to see Michael Penix in this last preseason game. Andy, any other preseason stuff that stood out to you before we go to the next topic?
Well, I was thinking the same thing about Bryce Young. It's kind of unfortunate we didn't get to see him. But then at the same time, from a buying perspective, Bryce Young has become a really nice buy still right now. Like I was looking up, because the 2023 Optic Mega Boxes are the #1 bestseller right now on blowoutcards.com. And they're $140 a piece. Let me see. Go add this to the stage. They're $140 a piece. And I'm like, what is the draw to this? So I think the big draw is the fact that you're chasing a CJ Stroud red hyper, right? Because these boxes have 3 mega box exclusive rated rookie red hyper parallels. And that is the big card you're wanting to chase out of it. You can see the Jordan Addison 25. A lot of other guys like Clayton Tune and Stetson Bennett, couple dollars there. Sam Laporta 25. But I was scrolling down and found the CJ Stroud right here sold for $375. There's another sold of the CJ Stroud for $400. And of course, he's looked just lights out this preseason anytime he's on the field in limited fashion. But look at the Bryce Young, $55. So, and I know it's not a great color match, like red's a great color match for the Texans. But these are, popular. I mean, there's a ton of them selling. These are transactions from today, like this morning. It's only lunchtime right now. So, just for CJ Stroud, you can see the difference right there on the screen. CJ Stroud at $400, Bryce Young at $55. That guy gave a nice 30% discount on the Bryce Young. Like, people are trying to move his card because I think they're afraid that he's a bust. I think he's been really quiet this preseason, and he's coming off a terrible rookie season. I think this makes him a buy. I think this kind of makes him maybe the play of the week, Carter. Maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but this was just like one of the preseason takeaways for me.
Yeah, no, I bought into Bryce this offseason with one of his silver prisms. So, yeah, most of the NFL teams had Bryce ahead of CJ, including the Texans themselves. And, do you really believe? I do think CJ is very, very, very good. And I also had Bryce ahead of CJ in my own evaluation. But do you really believe Bryce was as bad as he was last year in the worst situation arguably we've ever seen for a rookie quarterback? No, I don't think he's that bad. I think he'll be better, even though it is a little concerning that Deontay Johnson's getting hurt pretty much every day at Panthers camp. So, and the same thing is true for Xavier Legette. They are moving him along slowly. So he might
Mingo needs to step up. Mingo needs to step up.
Nah, he's terrible. There's nothing to do.
There's a lot of guys buying Mingo in the chat, man.
Oh, okay. So we're getting in on Jonathan Mingo. Okay.
Yep. The Mingo truthers are going to surface here any second.
Let's go.
So Carter, another preseason takeaway.
Let's go.
So let's go to let's talk about the Raiders for a second. I don't think there's a clear distinguishment between who's going to start at quarterback between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
They announced it.
They announced it? What, today?
No, late yesterday.
That would have been a top headline.
Well, no one cares about the Raiders. Huh? All right, how about this? Let me put you on the spot. Who do you think they named their starter? No one in the chat say it yet. Who do you think?
They went with the veteran in Gardner Minshew, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
There you go. And maybe it's because he got lucky. He did not throw a pick six over the weekend, but Aiden O'Connell did.
Right. I also will say this. The Raiders defense has looked horrible this preseason. And once again, it is just preseason. But some of the defensive calls that they had this year were so bad. So, Andy, pull up the week 1 schedule really quickly again. Well, actually, no, pull up Gardner Minshew. I could pull up the week 1 schedule.
Yeah, he's moving, man.
Red cracked ice, okay.
The buy nows are moving. Look at all the buy nows, brother. A lot of buy nows going. Some PSA 10 field level green out of 5 listed for $800, sold today. These are buy nows from today. I mean, it's moving. Okay. Base Prism PSA 10 32. Let's go over to Slab Hawk. Let's do a Slab Hawk on Gardner Minshew to see what the average on his.
Once again, while you look it up, once again, you get access to Slab Hawk as a part of your Patreon. All you got to do is go to nooffseason.com, footballcardquest.com, and just click upgrade. And guess what? You'll have access to this app once you sign up for the Football Card Patreon.
Yes, sir. And so you can see the average for Gardner Minshew's base prism PSA 10, $20. So, from that card, starting out very low, but we are seeing an increase, a pretty big time increase. I mean, look at the beginning of August, you even had a $15 buy it now, $17 auction. So now see the $30 buy it now. Okay, so this was the news we were waiting on, and that's somebody else we're going to talk about. I got a lot of windows open. But this was the news we were waiting on. I just missed it because now we're definitely seeing the prices go up. I think we're going to continue to see these prices go up as this supply dwindles, disappears. The prices are going to just continue to kind of slowly rise here for Minshew heading into the regular season.
I got a friend that has all his 1-of-1 shields from his rookie season. And I'm like, do you really love him so much that you don't want to move it right now? And he's like, no, I'm just a collector. And I'm like, dude, do you really think 10, and he's not even a Minshew fan. Do you really think 10 years from now, you're going to be happy holding these cards when you could cash out? And he's like, no, I'm keeping them. So you do you. I do think it's good news for Davante Adams because I think Minshew is just going to pepper him. He's a one read. Let's get this thing out.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. So Davante Adams hasn't played this preseason. Jacoby Myers, another standout receiver, really hasn't played. I mean, this guy's both great veteran presences, and then they also add Brock Bowers, who's an incredible receiver. But Trey Tucker has made plays every single week in preseason, and as a result, his sold volume has gone up like dramatically. And his card, like his base card values, so like his base rookie ticket autos are still selling for like $15, but they're moving, right? They're selling. But people are now spending like this green wild card rookie ticket auto, for example, that sold for, I think it was 45 here, is listed for 50. And so you could see people like buying more rare cards of him, and he's moving good right now. But the thing is, once the season starts, they're going to be throwing it to Trey Tucker. Plus, if the Raiders, and you could talk about this more than I can, Carter, but from what I've read, the Raiders like to deploy more of a 12 personnel offensive schematic, which is 2 tight ends, two receivers. So that's going to be Davante Adams and Jacoby Myers with Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. There's not going to be time for Trey Tucker to really be on the field, hardly ever. So now is the time to sell Trey Tucker.
Yeah. So I'll do this really quickly because I like to separate, what I do in my real life, which is football film study and football cards. Because I think most people aren't into scheme like I am. Okay. So, and if you don't mind, I'll share my screen. I'll do this really quickly. I do think this is very important because in the modern game, this is a big discussion point. Okay. I know it's kind of blurry here, but this is the best way to know the personnel groupings. Okay. The first number in the personnel groupings is the amount of running backs or fullbacks that are on the field. Okay. The second number is the amount of tight ends that are on the field. Okay. 99% of the time, you can add those two numbers together, subtracted by 5, and that's going to tell you the amount of receivers that are on the field. So when Andy says they're going to be running more 12 personnel, that means Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers will be on the field, right? And in order to have both of them on the field, you got to take the number 3 wide receiver out. So there's advanced stats that you can go look up, and you could see which teams run more 11 personnel. The Rams normally run the most 11 personnel. So the third wide receiver is more valuable to the Rams than, let's say, the Raiders, right? So that doesn't mean Trey Tucker's not going to play. It's just, especially since the Raiders use such high draft picks on 2 tight ends in 2 consecutive seasons, it makes more sense for them to do more 12 personnel. But if you hear it on a broadcast or you hear it aloud, that's what that means, okay? And it's going to be used more often because teams are just more spread out now. And more teams are thinking about running more 12 personnel. More often than not, though, Andy, teams are in 11 personnel. I would say probably, especially outside of goal line or short yardage situations, I would say probably 70-ish% of the time they're going to be in 11 personnel. So there you go. As far as the Raiders are concerned, I don't think they're going to be that good this year, even though there are some pieces here that do excite me.
Yeah, and that's ultimately why I think Trey Tucker's a sell. Looks like Minshew's a hold for now, maybe a sell heading into the season. Carter, there's a couple more guys though that I mean are prime sell opportunities right now. The Cowboys, Trey Lance,
Yes.
making some progress on his legs this past week, and once again, man, his price have gone up. It's not crazy, but his price have gone up probably 20%, and that just gives you the opportunity to move them. Like honestly, like at this point, I think it's nice just to get out of a player like Trey Lance. Like we're looking at his Silver Prism rookie auto that's selling him buy it now today. It's quite a few buy it nows already today, as you can see here for Trey Lance. Sold for $85. We went back and did some digging. Back on August 4th, this card sold for $69. That $50 to $60 range is kind of the bottom for it. So as you can see, that has gone up a good like 30-40% there. And we found the same kind of increase for his rookie ticket auto as well. And the base for that was like $50, and now they're moving like around $70. So great opportunity. If you bought him a month or two ago, you're able to flip for some profit, get out of the card. If you bought him when he was hyped up, like I did a couple years ago, well, then you just move them at a loss, but at least you can get out of them right now.
Right. Andy, I did the film study on Trey Lance. You can go to Power Hour NFL. First thing, it's interesting. Let me ask you this. So, we're talking about James 88, one of our top supporters. Do we have a lot of Cowboys in the football card quest world? I know we have a lot of Eagles. I know we have a lot of Colts, but are there a lot of diehard Cowboys in the football card quest network?
There's a few, but it's not as many as I would say. Like there's more Steelers fans.
Yes.
There might even be more Miami Dolphins fans. But definitely more Bills fans for sure.
Yeah. So the Cowboys are like by far the most valuable team. They're worth $10 billion. The second highest team is worth $7 billion. I will say this kindly. Cowboys fans are the most delusional fans. Okay. They watch one Trey Lance game versus some of the worst defensive calls I have ever seen. Okay, I understand it's just a preseason, but they were giving him everything. They're like, Trey Lance, you want to throw it to an open guy? We're going to make you look good. Okay. There were Cowboys fans saying that Trey Lance should start over Dak Prescott. And I wanted to throw my laptop into an erupting volcano full of electric eels. I don't get it. I don't get why Cowboys fans don't respect Dak. Well, he didn't win a playoff game. He's the best quarterback in the NFC. Trey Lance is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He just isn't. Okay. Sorry to tell you this. I would move now. Now, another thing, though, I do like about Trey Lance, let's say Dak goes down. The week leading up to Trey Lance's start, Andy, would you say that we would see a pretty rapid rise in his stuff?
Yeah.
So,
for sure. Now, the other thing is, who else is on the depth chart? Is there anybody there that could be the QB2?
Cooper Rush.
Yeah, Cooper Rush was solid last year.
I would make him QB2. I would make him QB2. There's no way I'm trusting Trey Lance in a game. No way.
Like Mike McCarthy's got to be on the hot seat this year as well. I know, Jerry Jones likes this long leash. He's got all this loyalty to his coaches and everything. But I mean, Mike McCarthy's got to be on the hot seat. If they miss the playoffs because they start Trey Lance and Dak Prescott gets hurt or whatever, this is a bad look. So I got to think like the leash for Trey Lance would be very short if he even got to start at all. And it would be Cooper Rush because he showed he could be serviceable and win games for the Cowboys last year.
And I want to share some offenses that I'm buying right now. The Eagles offense, I think, I've been on the fence on if Kellen Moore was going to run the offense he ran with Dak. He's not. So that's a good sign. An offense I really do like a lot will be the Seahawks offense next year. I don't like their offensive line, but I love their play caller, and I like Geno enough that I think DK and those guys will produce. Kenneth Walker is getting an unreal amount of buzz right now. And I'm also buying into the Cardinals offense going into next year. Is there any offense you think going into next year is undervalued, which could lead us into buying some skill position players on the low?
Well, there's offense is undervalued. It's tough to say because there's offenses that could be undervalued that like Tampa's offense, for example.
Okay.
But it's really tough to say, losing our offensive coordinator, Dave Canales. So there's offenses like that I think have upside based on their current prices. But at the same time, I could see a lot of paths where it doesn't go according to plan or as good as it did last year. Like Carolina is another one of those offenses. Now getting Dave Canales that could be a lot better this year that are currently still undervalued, that you could buy and flip on a much higher performance output. But there's a lot of paths to where it could go wrong. Tennessee is another one of those offenses, and I still see like Tony Pollard undervalued. I think he's a guy that's undervalued, and just the Tennessee, like Will Levis. I mean, he's right there. He's a little bit higher even than Bryce Young's prices, so he's gotten a little bit more hype than. But then he's got definitely got better wide receiver weapons than DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley than the Panthers. So, but that's another one right there, Carter. I still think there's value to be had on the Washington Commanders with your guy Jaden Daniels. I think this team's gonna be very competitive.
I hate Cliff Kingsbury though, man. I do not like Cliff. I didn't like his calls versus Miami. But we'll see. What's funny is I wasn't a big fan of the Bears or the Commanders hires to be the OCs, right? I was just not happy with that at all. Commanders have the lowest pre-snap motion rate in the NFL, and I'm like, why? It's free. Everyone does it. All the best offenses do pre-snap motion, and guess what? The LSU offense had the most pre-snap motion maybe in all of college football last year, and Cliff Kingsbury with his dashing good looks, which has got him hired 1,000 times over. Oh, who gives a flip? He coached Patrick Mahomes in college. It didn't really win a damn thing. I don't give a damn. I hope Jaden can overcome Cliff. I really, really do. And the skill position guys that are very okay, if you ask me. I like B-Rob. I like Terry, but still. It is what it is at this point. Andy, I wanted to get your thoughts this next year on the Giants. What do we do about Daniel Jones? And do you think Drew Lock could be a backup QB potential play?
Drew Lock is definitely a backup QB potential play. We've already seen Daniel Jones throw 2 interceptions in his preseason debut. And I just think that at this point now, this is going to be the 3rd year of Brian Daboll. And this is a very competitive head coach. This guy wants to win. And I think a lot of the carrot that he dangled out there to get Drew Lock to sign the contract they did was like, hey, look, we will make you the starter if Daniel Jones cannot get this done. And I think Daniel Jones is healthy, but if they start losing games and it gets ugly out of the gate, which is kind of what happened last year with Daniel Jones. If you remember, like that first game against the Cowboys, like Sunday Night Football was just disgusting. But this year, they're going to have like a serviceable starting caliber NFL quarterback in Drew Lock to put in. And ultimately, I'm looking to invest in skill position players like Malik Nabers. I mean, Malik Nabers' usage this preseason, Carter, has been insane. Like 90+% route participation, 35% target share. I mean, he looks like he's going to be just a monster producer. Kind of reminds me of when the Giants drafted Saquon Barkley and he was just like the everything of their offense in 2018. I feel like that's going to be Malik Nabers this year. So and his prices have gone up. Like I was actually looking before the stream, Carter, at his Leaf non-autograph. Let's see if I could pull it back up. Yeah, here it is. his Leaf non-autograph card selling for $32. These are selling a lot right now too because they're non-serial numbered. It's a Leaf draft autograph. It's just a paper stock card. It's like very comparable to Sage here, but it does have that little Leaf rookie card logo and sticker auto. $32 right now. These were selling for $15 regularly back in July. So
yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago. Here you go. So yeah, June 15th, 15, June 28th, 17, July 21st, 15, July 12th, 15. And so they've doubled, and they've gone up exponentially. If you get the more rare ones, the Bowman University ones, stuff like that, all his values have doubled and tripled. So as much as I'd like to sell the college uniform stuff, we just don't have pro uniform stuff. I don't even think he got printed in the Panini instance yet. So it's going to be like one of those situations where I'm like, man, I think you got to hold these things. I mean, if you want to sell them because you've got the profit, I think this guy's a hold just because the Giants have this huge viewing base and this team is going to have a lot of eyeballs and he's just going to get like so much opportunity on the field. It's going to be insane. He's going to be converting left and right, and they're going to be like, yeah, the Giants suck, but Malik Nabers is so awesome.
I had a stack of 10 of these and I gave them all out to my Power Hour LSU viewers, and now I'm like, dang, it's $300, man.
But maybe Drew Lock comes in, Daniel Jones lays a couple goose eggs early, and they bring in Drew Lock. What's the opening schedule here? Minnesota at New York. Okay, that's a nice game for Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
That could be a loss right there. New York at the Commanders. That could be another loss right there. And that's a nice matchup for the Commanders. And then Monday Night Football. Okay, that was Washington at Cincinnati. Where's the
they get New England. So the Giants schedule is one of the softer ones to start.
The Giants is one of the softer ones, and yet I could still see them going 0-3.
Yeah. No, they can be a very, very, very bad football team going into next year. Andy, hobby tip of the week. We'll let you go first.
Oh man, so I go to I like to give a good look on the new products coming out. We talked about 2023 Optic earlier. I like to highlight these sales from blowout cards. You never know what they're going to put on sale, what they're trying to move. This week it happens to be 2013 Panini Crown Royal football retail box for a special price of $99.77 with Andrew Luck on the cover there. But you could get some, Travis Kelce rookie autos in here. You could get some your guy Tyrann Mathieu. You got Keenan Allen. So it's an interesting set. It's got like some nice quality cards in there. It's only 20 cards. But compared to the ultra modern stuff, I mean, yeah, it sounds like a fun rip. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, and are you done? Is that your whole hobby tip of the week?
Yeah, go ahead, Carter. I mean,
you're just looking at these prices, huh?
I'm looking at these prices, these boxes, like
yeah. So my hobby tip of the week, Andy, is the Fanatics Fest was huge. Like the amount of A-listers that were there, not even sports stars. I mean, we're talking Travis Scott, Jay-Z, Drewski. I mean, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But they had a ton of A-list athletes there. Obviously, Brady was there, and so many legends right at this Fanatics Fest. And it was more geared towards like the experience, right? The National is more about cards, the collectibles themselves. Fanatics Fest, Fanatics owns all the licenses pretty much for all the big leagues. Everyone loved it. Brad Nolan, our own liked it. The nooffseason.com network went there. So Paul Hickey and the whole crew were there. Great success. And, people are talking about, well, it's $50 to get in. I do think you got ROI on it. I do if you went in there. And they said the card show, the card aspect of it was really good as well. And they also said there was more modern cards there as well. Whereas the National, a lot of people were complaining about too much vintage. Andy, we're not vintage collectors. It's just not something that we do. So Fanatics Fest was a rousing success, and I'm seriously contemplating going to it next year, potentially over the National. But I do want to go to the National again in Chicago, Andy, because we had so much fun. The second thing is, after a really good week of 99-cent auctions, I did have one bite me in the butt. I did not know that I even listed this card because I was in a sleepy daze when I listed it. This Clyde Edwards-Helaire PSA 10 card, Andy. I want you to guess what this went for on a 99-cent auction. Let it ride.
99-cent auction, let it ride. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know, 99 cents. Did you even get a bid?
I got $1.25. So I do not cancel orders unless it's like just a clear mistake. I'm going to honor the sale because I'm that guy. I am that guy. I'm going to honor the sale. So always with these 99-cent auctions, that's a risk, right? Did I want to sell this card for $1.25? No, I did not. But I will send it off. So like I said, I'm a big 99-cent let it ride. I don't mind a little gamble to see what the market decides. But there is downside. So there you go. Andy, we'll take a few more questions before we get to hobby tip of the or plays of the week. Go right on ahead, Andy.
Yep. Real quick, shout out to CGC Card Grading, sponsor of today's live stream. Show a couple comparable sold items from them. Here you've got a CGC 10, Caleb Williams, Bowman Chrome University, 10 on the auto as well. $350 sold yesterday in a buy it now. This is not his first one. This is his second one, the 2023 Bowman University. And then this really cool purple, pour some out for JJ McCarthy, CGC 10, 1 out of 1. Well, it's a 1 out of 1 is the eBay 1 out of 1, but it's serial numbered out of 15 from the Panini National set. CGC 10, $280 in auction as well. And then Saquon Barkley CGC 10, $301. This is his 2023 downtown. It's not going to go for nearly the amount as his rookie. But as you can see, plenty of respect and demand for CGC cards grading, and they have bulk submissions. Like, you could have submitted all 3 of those cards as part of a bulk submission with the 25 card minimum for $11 per card. And the current turnaround is 9 working days. Like, their system is so dialed in, and you get those incredible crystal clear holders, great plastic, and some really solid sold results as well. So definitely check out cgccardgrading.com.
Okay, yeah. So $11 per card for a 25 card order. You're telling me what? All in all, it's going to be $300 to get 25 cards subbed. You factor in taxes and all that stuff. It's not bad. Not bad at all. To get 25 cards slabbed. It's pretty daggone good if you ask me. So shout out to them. Now, let's take a few more before we skedat that.
Yes, sir. So Matt says he has a couple Aiden O'Connells. Should he be selling now or hold on to them, see if anything changes? Carter, I think you got to hold on to them to see if anything changes here because he is on a rookie contract. I could see them pulling Gardner Minshew if he starts stinking it up bad enough to put in Aiden O'Connell, see what they got in the regular season.
Or it's a time to buy low, right? If you think he's decent. Like there might be a dip since he didn't actually get the start. So, yeah, you definitely hold on to him. At some point, Gardner Minshew is going to be benched because they want to see what they have with Aiden O'Connell. And at that point, you can sell because there will be a lot of hype going into his first start. Dakota deck draws, I would definitely sell Gardner Minshew before the season starts. I would. Especially now that he's in the news that he won the starter's job. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jalen Hyatt? according to Richard Villarreal.
I mean, he's not a bad deep sleeper to throw a flyer on, but I mean, I still think I'd rather own one Malik Nabers card than 4 Jalen Hyatt rookie autos. Just give me one pro uniform Malik Nabers rookie auto. Like he's the kind of guy that it's tempting. It's really tempting even for me to just shell out the bucks to own one, just because I think he could be like really, like he could finish like as a first round fantasy wide receiver if he can get some decent quarterback play, just from the sheer volume that I think he's going to get this year in that offense. And they're going to be constantly being like these negative game script scenarios. So it's like they're constantly going to be throwing the ball to him. He's going to be out there so much. It's crazy.
All right, let's fly through a few of these. Yeah, James, just buy the single that you want instead of buying the mega box, unless you want to rip and have fun. James also asked, what happens to a card price when a player passes away?
They go up. They spike temporarily. It's kind of like the same thing when a player announces they're going to retire. They spike temporarily. They go down. But a prime example of this was when Carter, help me out, 2019 was down
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins, yes.
Yeah,
Dwayne
he had
Haskins,
a crazy spike when he died.
Tragically passed away. Crazy spike. I mean, I had Silver Prism rookie auto Dwayne Haskins listed on eBay forever, way too high from back like before when I thought he was going to start. And somebody bought it for like $150. I mean, and this was like a crazy spike that lasted for a whole week. Just like there was a crazy spike on DeMar Hamlin,
So we'll never see that again, dude. We'll never.
No, I know it's like I wouldn't think that we'd ever see like what happened to Dwayne Haskins. Like the story behind this crazy, but
like people just, I mean, it just becomes such a big story when anyone passes. It really does. But yeah, it's crazy. Let's see if there's any more. I think we can go ahead and get into play of the week.
I will just say sell Mac Jones. His prices aren't even as much as Trey Lance, which is why we didn't highlight. Like Trey Lance is still selling for more than Mac Jones, and you still have Justin Fields. Like if we look at the rookie ticket auto market, Carter, Justin Fields is not a bad sell right now either, because his rookie ticket autos have held strong, $150 compared to $75 for Trey Lance. Mac Jones are like at $50. So, they're moving, but there's your price differences there.
Dave from New York, big fan of the show. My opinion on Jordan Addison. I think he's very good. I do. He's obviously never going to be the number one option there. But with Jordan Addison, do you think someone really gets excited about buying a card of someone that's always kind of in trouble? It's tough, right? It's really, really, really tough.
I don't like his attitude, man.
Yeah, it's just
his facial expressions just rub me the wrong way. I'm like,
I mean, he's just, I don't know. I just think people don't really want to collect him, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Then again, I'm just such a big Justin Jefferson fan. I would just much rather just save up and just buy a Justin Jefferson card.
It's kind of like the Malik Nabers versus Jalen Hyatt. And Jalen Hyatt doesn't rub me the wrong way like Jordan Addison does, but I would still, it's one of those situations where buying the number one on the team, it's a very chalky play, right? You're going to spend more money, but at the same time, your expected value in return, it's more of an investment. It's like you're investing in that blue chip stock versus the speculative penny stock that's like, like worked on a little subsidiary project with the big company. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
we saw a Rich Deco, we saw a VI Massive. If you want to listen to our Bo Nix rant, you can go to the beginning of the show. It was the very first person we talked about. We know people will join in like midway through, but just go back to the beginning. Play of the week. I'm going to go. All right, I have my screen pulled up here, Andy.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Drew Lock. Do I think Drew Lock can play? Not really. PSA 10 silver auto rookie for $40. Backup quarterbacks are always a target here on the Football Card Quest. And I guess $10 for a rookie auto would make some sense here for Drew Lock. I could see him having a big spike week with Malik Nabers and people starting to believe in old Drew Lock again. $10 out the door for a 2019 quarterback always interests me. So my play of the week, Drew Lock.
Would you rather own the Drew Lock rookie auto or Gardner Minshew?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would.
So and he's cheaper now because Gardner's gone up so much from the news. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's an interesting backup play there. Carter, mine is actually going to be Brian Robinson on the Washington Commanders. I think a lot of people have the perception that they picked up Austin Eckler, and Austin Eckler is going to have a much larger role. Plus, Jaden Daniels has this rushing floor, right? So they automatically, I think, downplay the role that Brian Robinson is going to have. But I think Austin Eckler is going to be more of just like this veteran satellite back presence that's really used sparingly. And Brian Robinson is going to get all this work. And the guy's really developed a lot more. And I just think from a usage standpoint, if you look at his usage this preseason, we've got to see quite a bit of the first team offense here, the Commanders. I think Brian Robinson is a guy that's undervalued in fantasy and cards. He went to Alabama. He got shot in the butt as a rookie. So it's like, he's got this cool storyline. It's like a tough dude, and he was like out there on the field playing like less than 8 weeks later. And I think Brian Robinson's a guy that's going to appreciate in the hobby. He may not be a quick flip here out of the gate unless the Commanders start off hot and he gets he gets those touchdowns. He gets that performance, which I think is a very real possibility, man. I think this guy's going to get like 20 touches a game, Carter, and that's compared to what his current prices are at. I think he's a total buy.
Let's go, B-Rob. One more thing. Running backs attached to super mobile QBs have their efficiency go up.
That's great. So like Brian Robinson, where is he going right now in fantasy? Because I know you're like doing a crazy amount of drafts every week.
He's going around pick 105, somewhere 105.
So is that like the 9th round?
Yeah.
So he's going behind guys like Zamir White.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you were to read the tea leaves in terms of utilization, Zamir White is likely part of a running back by committee, like an ugly 3-headed running back by committee with Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah. Who else do they have there in Las Vegas? But there's like a few running backs.
Dylan Lobby.
Oh yeah, Dylan Lobb that they drafted this year,
and Alexander Madison.
Yeah, and if you look at like the offenses that Cliff Kingsbury, your buddy over there, has run, like, I mean, I think Brian Robinson is going to have a pretty secure primary running back role where he gets the bulk of the carries. He's clearing away the RB1 on that team, and 20 carries a game is very valuable. A lot more valuable than his current $15 rookie ticket autos are going for.
There we go. Great show today, Andy. Is there anything else before we have to break?
Well, I did finally get notice that all of my RPS first looks have shipped. So that's actually a better hobby tip that I forgot about is new product is incoming. All of the RPS first looks. So I got Marshawn Lloyd rookie autos coming. JJ McCarthy, not auto, but just like the RPS first looks, those are coming. Not as big of a factor now. I've got all kinds of guys coming, and so it looks like Rome is being shipped. Luke McCaffrey's being shipped. Ladd McConkey's being shipped. Ricky Pearsall's being shipped. Jalen McMillan, Troy Franklin, Bucky Irving, all these guys are getting ready to have pro uniforms cards circulating them into the market. So go back to or you can just type in like Panini on Twitter and go and look at their timeline and go back to where they published the list, the checklist, and you'll be able to see there's like 50 players on this checklist. And I think they're all now finally shipping, And so they're going to have a lot of new product here hit the market. As you saw Carter highlight that one earlier. And that was a big time sale, man. I can't believe he blew Keon Coleman away of that Rome sale.
And one more thing about the Rome Odunze thing. I've actually started drafting him more, Andy. This is my big concern, though. Going back to the 12 personnel thing. And I do think people should go look at this. Bears run a lot of 12 personnel with Luke Getsy. I hated that offensive coordinator hire. Why would you draft Rome Odunze? First round draft capital, ready to go, and run 12 personnel. Doesn't make any sense. You got Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore. I want those guys on the field all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And I think Dante Pettis is an interesting wide receiver 4. So there you go.
Are you really considering investing like in wide receiver 4 for the Bears?
No. No, not like I've actually clicked him in a few DraftKings drafts and like pick 20 if I'm putting a Caleb stack together.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think he's okay. I do think Caleb is so daggum good, though. He can make a lot of mediocre receivers look really good. And Caleb said the quarterback he likes more than anyone, Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford. And those guys have been doing that their whole freaking careers. So there you go. Hector's with me. He's got a CEH collection. Hector, if you want to send some to me for charity, send them. After my dear beloved $1.25 PSA 10. What a day. All right, we'll see you. We will see you guys next Tuesday. Don't forget, Andy dropped a radio that you could check out. Also, Andy, since we are teammates on the NoOffSeason.com network, if you do love film studies, if you want the honest truth about Trey Lance, if you want the honest truth about J.J. McCarthy's lone rookie performance where he looked fantastic, go to Power Hour NFL, and you can watch all my videos. And just if you are an NFL person, which a lot of you are, I am moving more towards NFL. I'm still going to do my LSU SEC stuff, but this will be my first year really hitting the NFL coverage hard. And I'm doing it with Andy as a part of the NoOffSeason.com network. So we'll see you next week, y'all. Peace.
Nice. Peace out, y'all.